Hello all and welcome back to the Analyst Hat-Trick, the longer version following the plethora of midweek action. Thanks to each and every one of you who joined in with the show on social media. And having enjoyed putting out the show and then seeing your poll results come in afterwards, we're going to keep doing that for this weekend's game as well. So head over to our Twitter account @Analyst, where you can take part in the 3 polls for today's show. But in the meantime, here's how the table looks at the moment. And well, everyone bar Duncan were able to record at least one correct prediction, but Matt continues to power away at the summit. But you in our community are very, very close on his heels. Meanwhile, my plummet seems to show no signs of ending, going 1 for 9 over the past 3 game weeks, whilst John continues to deliver a comeback worthy of Lazarus. So expect me to be holding up the table at the end of this weekend's games. And it is with the early Saturday kickoff that we begin looking forward to this weekend's action, and Thomas Tuchel's eyes lighting up at the fact his Chelsea side are travelling east across the capital to take on West Ham United at the London Stadium. You see, Chelsea have won all of their last 7 away London derbies in the league. It's a new record for the top 4 tiers of English football to have had that in those London derbies, and what's more, they've been able to keep 6 clean sheets during that period as well. So perhaps no surprises then that our win probability model is giving Chelsea a 41.9% chance of victory, but the Hammers have won 3 of their last 6 home Premier League games against Chelsea, which is as many as they had done in their previous 14 such games. But they are overall winless in their last 3 Premier League matches, with them last having a longer run without a win in their final 4 matches of 2020. There will be some intrigue when Thomas Tuchel hands in his team sheet for this game. You see, Chelsea have already made 50 changes to their starting lineup in the first 14 games of the season, matching the record that Manchester United set back in the 2009-2010 season. And in fact, it is the Red Devils who are the only side to have made 50 changes sooner in a season. That happened back in the 2001-2002 season when they did 50 changes after just 12 games. Whatever the changes, the majority of us analyst contributors believe we are staring at a Chelsea victory. The Blues did do the league double over West Ham last season, but it has been a while since they won 3 in a row against the Hammers in the Premier League, that coming back between March 2010 and April 2011. So who are going to be the key players to look out for at the London Stadium on Saturday? Well, against no siders, Romelu Lukaku scored more Premier League goals than the 9 he's netted against West Ham. Success again in this game, and he will become the 7th player to net double figures against the Hammers in the Premier League, which would make them the side against which the most opposing players have netted 10 or more against them in the competition. 10 is also the magic number for Michail Antonio. He has been directly involved in 10 goals in his last 10 Premier League London derby appearances. In fact, he's the only West Ham player in Premier League history to register double figures for both goals with 11 and assists with 10 in London derby matches. So who do you think is going to be successful? Will it be a blue day for the Hammers on Saturday? Make sure you make your vote count in our online poll on our Twitter account @Analyst, which will run right up until kickoff on Saturday. Looking elsewhere on the day, and it's an intriguing matchup at St James's Park, with Newcastle being made once again favourites to collect their first victory of the season, this time against Burnley. They did become the 4th team to fail to win any of their opening 14 games of a Premier League campaign, with all the others suffering relegation at the end of the season, an omen that Eddie Howe will be hoping to turn around. Meanwhile, our win probability model is also, unsurprisingly, predicting wins for Liverpool and Manchester City. But it's another of Saturday's games that's caught my eye, this South Coast tussle that's going to take place at St Mary's, where I wouldn't be surprised if Southampton don't emerge victorious from the game against Brighton. You see, this is their 9th meeting in the Premier League, and on the previous 8 occasions, the home side has never won. We got 4 draws and 4 away wins. Amazingly, there is another fixture in the history of the Premier League that has a longer such run, and that is when Bournemouth take on Watford on 10 occasions between the two of them, the home side has never emerged victorious. Well, our win probability model is throwing that right out the window here, because it is fancying the Saints to go marching in, giving them the slightest of edges with a 37.3% chance of success, although Brighton aren't far behind at 32.8%. Brighton are winless in their last 9 games, which amazingly is their 4th run of 9 games without a win since joining the Premier League. However, they haven't been toppled over for a 10 in a row run in the top flight since the early 1980s. And even if Southampton do go ahead, I don't think Brighton are going to be too worried. The Saints have dropped 69 points from winning positions since Ralph Hasenhüttl took over in December of 2018. That is 13 more than any other side in the league. Whilst Brighton recently, well, no side has won more points from losing positions in the Premier League than Brighton 6 this season, with 3 of their last 5 away goals coming from the 89th minute or beyond, and altering the result of the match as well. So it could be a little bit of a late show for the Seagulls at St Mary's. Despite all this, there's a spread of picks amongst us in the Opta Analyst community, and if we expand the South Coast to include Bournemouth and Portsmouth, then Brighton have the lowest win rate in South Coast derbies in Premier League history, winning just 2 of their 14 such games, while Southampton have won 9 of 22. Just something to keep your eye out on in this game, because Nathan Redmond has the chance to create a unique bit of Premier League history. He's assisted in his last 3 home league appearances, and no player has ever assisted in 4 consecutive home matches for Southampton, whilst the last player to do it for any side in the Premier League, well, that was Kevin De Bruyne back in October of 2019. So can he lead the Saints to success? Do you think they've got a chance to get the victory? Let us know in our online poll on Twitter at Analyst and make your vote count. Right, time to look ahead to the rest of the weekend's fixtures, with Ralph Rangnick set to be in the Manchester United dugout for the first time as they take on Crystal Palace, who themselves are chasing a unique bit of history, having already beaten Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad earlier in the Premier League this season. A win at Old Trafford in this one would make them the first London side to win away at both Manchester clubs in the same top-flight campaign since Arsenal did it in the 1990-91 season. Our win probability model, though, is backing the Red Devils to be successful with a 56.9% chance of victory, as well as plumping for wins for Leeds and Tottenham, as well as Arsenal to be victorious in their Monday night trip up to Everton. But it's to Villa Park for our third and final preview of the weekend's action, and if you're a goalkeeper right now, I suggest you might cover your ears or cover your eyes, because this does not make for pretty reading. You see, the Foxes have conceded in each of their last 14 away games in the Premier League. However, on the plus side for them, we'll say this, they have been able to find the back of the net on each occasion, so swings and roundabouts, and that is particularly key when it comes to taking on Aston Villa. You see, in the previous 12 home matches that Villa have played against Leicester, they have never kept a clean sheet, conceding 23 times during those matches. So perhaps that's why our win probability model is slightly favouring the Foxes in this one, giving them a 38.3% chance of victory compared to the host 33.4%. Villa have lost their last 2 home league games against Leicester, and Brendan Rodgers has made Villa Park somewhat of a happy hunting ground during his time in charge of Premier League clubs, going a perfect 6 for 6 in this corner of Birmingham, a feat that has only been matched by Jurgen Klopp's success at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Sundays also haven't been favourable to Aston Villa since their return to the competition. They've lost more games on a Sunday than any other side in the competition, that's 14. And on the flip side of the coin, there are actually only 2 sides who have won more games on a Sunday during that period than Leicester. One of those is Manchester United. They have won 18 compared to Leicester's 17, while somewhat surprisingly, Tottenham Hotspur have won 24 games on a Sunday during that period. Quite a few of us analyst contributors do feel that we'll be seeing success for Villa on Sunday though, which will keep a unique run for Steven Gerrard going as well. He's never suffered back-to-back defeats in the league as a manager, so we'll be hoping to avoid following on from Manchester City's victory in midweek. Gerrard and Rodgers have clashed as managers in the Scottish top flight before, both recording 1-0 home victories as leaders of Rangers and Celtic, respectively. And if Leicester are to be successful, don't be surprised if Jamie Vardy's having a party. He has scored 5 goals in his last 5 appearances against Aston Villa. But do you think he is going to be the one firing them to success this weekend? Let us know what you think will be the outcome of this match and the other 2 that you have seen in the show today on our Twitter account, @OptaAnalyst. The polls will run all the way up until kickoff. In the meantime, though, thank you very much for tuning in as ever. We'll be back very soon with more action from the Premier League and plenty more predictions and fun as well. Until then, I've been Graham Bell. Make sure you head over to theanalyst.com as well, the home of data-driven storytelling. And until next time, goodbye.